Yes, I from a mina cover Eroba platform. As a host, Naji, and I want to make a DSC. Monadian since I'm a reporter in Sakakas Abrantian, I fancy actually Jonas and so on. I'm American for Atero. Number 4, Yensen, Samnasi, Ewa decide, Father Ibrahim Hama. Just say any gold mine, Wapako to Yetimas, no resources. And sincerely, Ababa Yedi for Yentin Ghana for Nensono Eka Farmer.
Or some sort of, is it a collusion to try to support one party against the other?
No, I think that they were colluding to disinform the public. That's my view.
Okay. That information, how do we are unable to independently say that what you're saying is fact?
No, because
except that you are taking from the fact that there was litigation ongoing.
Yes.
Whilst they were working on the loans.
I start off from the fact that the ECOWAS Bank is very familiar with the Azuma Resources entity because they had made an initial offer in May 2024, which was rejected. Then your client comes back and says they didn't agree. You issue another one the subsequent month. Send it back to them. Your clients come and say, people are not agreeing. Then 6 months later, there's a termination. By ethical business practice, if this was a life engagement, a life transaction, because you are trying to work with your client to do that, your client will have told your relationship manager that, look, they've terminated the agreement, we are in arbitration with them, etc., etc., etc. So if in July 2025, without any of the matters resolved, pre-legal proceedings, contempt proceedings in Ghana, injunction proceedings in Ghana that have concluded, arbitration, if despite all of this, you don't have any evidence of settlement, and then you come in and you say the board of directors of ECOWAS Bank has approved a loan to acquire the Black Gold voter mine. Then you know something we don't know. Okay. Then what you know, the only thing you can know we don't know. Somebody has assured you.
It's their business decision.
Okay. But that business decision does not inform the.
It's their business decision because that they find that there is an agreement subsisting between engineers and planners and these other entities. 6 of them, albeit we have isolated, it comes down to 2. And engineers has committed funds into the project thus far. Into their own bank account for their own purposes. Because that's the evidence I have seen. If they have other evidence, I have a standing request to engineers sent directly to their president, their owner and their chairman, to send in information which contradicts anything I've said in public. I've actually met him and made the same offer. I've not received a single document. What I have seen suggests that all the money they claim they've spent, the $500,000 a month and the rest, was for purposes related to their own affairs, including paying Mr. Bobby Benson very well. About $500,000. The first $500,000 I've seen is there. I think I've seen another one that suggests he must receive almost $1 million from the company. So rather than funding the mine, they are busy funding legal warfare. And my argument is that cannot be said to be adding value to the mine. We are only interested in Ghana that you grow the value of the mine, so the mine can create jobs. In terms of the expense they have made into the project,
they said they have got a hell of
the amount of legal fees pales into insignificance. So let's not focus on that.
But the point is that they have not spent the money to advance the terms of the agreement. The things that they were supposed to do in the agreement are very clear.
Sitting here, I don't have that evidence. I'm looking at the face of the contract.
You have the agreement
and the processes.
You have the agreement, right?
Correct.
You know what they were supposed to do in the agreement.
Yes.
Okay, how much of it have they done? Have they given you any evidence to show how much work they have actually done? That corresponds to
they have a statement which they have shared with the public.
But I'm asking
that says what they have done.
In that statement, the site and civil works, which you read yourself very carefully, have they advanced it and by how much? Have they done any exploration and what resource or reserves have they defined by that exploration? Those are the things you must ask them. Because you see, you sign an agreement that says you do certain things to advance the project. What are we interested in Ghana? We have a big gold mine, produces gold, generate royalties of $150 million, create jobs of about 1,000 for people in the Upper West region to do well. You go into the agreement as VNP. You are one of our national champions. People respect you greatly. We want you to go and add value to the project so the mine becomes more valuable. It generates more royalties for the country. It creates more jobs in the Upper West. What spending have you done that takes that forward? These people have shown us records. I specifically sent you the Australian Stock Exchange information. Because they were a public company at some point, we know from 2006 to 2020, all the investments they've made to try and grow the value of the asset. I showed you where they took it from, 100 and something thousand in declared reserves to about 1 million in declared reserves. This company, people have taken it to about 600,000 declared reserves. This company has taken it forward to about 1.6 million declared reserves. How many additional gold have DMP discovered to add to the reserves? How many? What other civil works have they done to take us closer to the mine?
If you got information, that clearly the agreement stated that the finance for the development, not the acquisition, will be raised on the books of Azuma Australia and by EMP. I understand that at the first meeting between all the parties, the ECOWAS Bank was of the view that their books are bad.
The company's books are bad.
So EMP should raise the project development finance on EMP's books.
Okay, but that would be very interesting if there was a document to support it. Two documents. One is some document from ECOWAS Bank that suggests that they thought Azuma Resources can never raise money on their books. And then secondly, evidence that shows that Azuma Finance's books were very bad compared to mining companies in that stage. Because I know, that's what we do. We reserve. I just
so as I understand, the change of events, the change of events is that beyond the terms you see in the contract, because it was discovered that their books were bad and could not support the loan, and EMP's books were to be used to support the loan,
because they have the balance.
EMP then, in every business sense, will then say,
okay,
why not?
So let's
why not?
One by one.
I just buy you out,
no, let's take it
so
one
to
by
speak.
One.
Because if I'm raising the funds on my books...
First of all, we need to validate these points, right? And to be helpful if those documents were made available. To show that EBIT had done that evaluation, concluded the books of Azuma Ghana was not very good, etc. Secondly, Azuma Ghana was backed by shareholders that have raised tens of millions of dollars publicly. Ibarra Capital. A company like Azuma Ghana is a shell. The real value of a company like Azuma Ghana is driven by its shareholders. And Ibarra Capital had raised money in the US from very sophisticated institutional investors, which showed it had capacity. So I would like to see the analysis that was done to conclude that you couldn't do it on Azuma Ghana's book. But the most important of all of this is that means that EMP had changed their commercial strategy. They had decided that this thing that we signed, that will raise money in the books of Azuma Ghana, it doesn't work for us anymore. So the right thing you do then to maintain trust is that you say, look, we have to renegotiate the agreement.
But this was obvious, was it not?
Yes.
Azuma Ghana, they were broke. They couldn't pay.
No, but they
couldn't pay their tax liabilities.
True.
It was EMP that had to assume all of this.
Had accrued before a private equity fund came in. Remember that? That's why I gave you the history. By 2017, before Ibarra started to come in, of course, Azuma Ghana was very stressed, and they already owed all of these mineral commission fees and whatever, and they were made that public. That, but they were raising money, and the stock exchange in Australia was not very favorable to juniors.
My point is that doesn't that suggest to you?
Let me explain things. So on the frontier, these are junior explorers on the frontier, and the stock market in Australia was not being very favorable in raising money. So they were struggling. Okay. And in 2018, they already started to talk about having to bring in money. That is why they brought in a private equity fund. That's what private equity funds do. So the private equity fund came and said, okay, I will enter into the agreement by giving you some money to sort your issues out as you go forward. And then eventually,
yes, I don't want to say we say someone. If you da science no about this time no say report I free just say America aba be pia so they say Twene Jonas so no ye chire mu a ya che no but I say per report they just say ya che Twene Jonas e wa America. Yes, I don't for a particular sin we are as a quality where you so and I just say a brand friends at Twene Jonas. A brand friends at Twene Jonas and so on. And I actually know I watch say American Street breaking with Twene Jonas finally arrested in US for insulting Ghana. I don't know how it is, but Sana caption or no credit and the what's assembly one order. I don't for me at our comment section and you have to be.